All right, Gigi, how you doing?
Good, good, good.
Okay, we need to. We've essentially finalized the lists for the captains, but now we need to finalize the numbers.
Yes, I have done a lot of cooking on it. There's still more to do. But, so the system that you kind of put forth, right? Like, they just hand us the crew cut and they take their 5% and then the rest, you know, they're going to distribute. It doesn't work. It does for a couple things, but not others. But I'm not going to complicate it. I'm going to make some ways where some of this can work out and be fine. But to keep it really simple, there's two major examples of why it won't work. Okay. Number one, weed growing. This one's easy. Basically, all of their weed growing money, 10% of it needs to be held to the side, handed up anyway, so we can give it to the grower, right? Because not everyone's gonna have a grower in their crew. Moonshine is probably the most complicated one. There's a farmer, and there's a cook, and there's a pusher, and they can all be separate people. If one of your guys does one of those things, some of that money, whoever depoted it in, it still has to be redistributed. Like, you know, different captains might have different people. So I'm gonna make this hard for them on purpose, because I want to see how well they handle this, what solutions they come up with. I'm making them all a worksheet that they're going to fill out weekly, that it's sort of like already when they kind of give me numbers on the computer. It's very similar, but it's going to have them calculating each little thing that needs to be calculated, right? Anything that needs to be exact because it's being passed to another captain or up to us, they're going to calculate. And then the rest of the numbers, they can do however they want from there. But I'm going to make it look like a tax form, like a Form 1040. And it's going to go line by line, and it's going to say, put in the money for this. Okay, now put in what percentage you're paying them in this box. Okay, now take line this and line that and multiply it. I'm going to make it absolutely foolproof. And if they want to put it in a spreadsheet, they want to automate it, they want to do whatever they can, but I'm going to just hand it to them like that. I'm going to make it horrible. Okay. Completely foolproof, though. I'm giving them line by line instructions on how to do it. So if any of them get it wrong, they're dumb as fuck, right? So we're just going to see how it goes. But I'm almost done making that.
So how does the system work then? If we're not gonna do so how's the system gonna work?
So there are a couple things that they're gonna calculate and pass up. That's gonna be the 45% crew cut, and that's gonna be anything that doesn't go to one of their sub crew members, right? So if like one of their guys pushed someone else's moonshine or whatever, I'm gonna like they're gonna have the numbers on what the final amount was, and they're just gonna calculate whatever goes to someone else that isn't them and hand that up. They hand those numbers to me. I'll do that.
So for example, it doesn't really matter. So if Sophia made some moonshine, right, that she then gave to Arush, and Arush is a different crew, she still gets her cut and he still gets his cut because they're still a part of the same crew at the end of the day, right?
Right. But if we're having the captains decide what they're paying their people, then the way I'll have to do that is Sophia will tell, you know, their captain, they'll report up to me, hey, I cooked this much. Someone else from another crew will be like, hey, I pushed this much. And I'll have to just make sure that I redistribute just the maximum percentage that they should get for that thing, right? Based off of just whatever we currently pay. And then when their captain gets that thing, they decide if they're giving that person that full cut that they would normally get, or if they're changing it up, redistributing it. Most things, like if they're doing roof running or whatever, they don't have to do any of that shit. It's just weed and moonshine, like, and weed's the easiest one because it's just, hey, 10% has to go to the grower. You have to pass that back up to the crew as well, right? And then all the pushing money, they figure out. So it's just moonshine, honestly. But it won't be hard. I'm gonna give them that worksheet and they'll figure it out. And if they can't figure it out, that's on them.
So what if we instead just keep the same rates for things like the moonshine? Like we say, listen, you can pay whoever the fuck you want for whatever the fuck you want, except for these specific things need to work this way.
We could do that. I think what I'll do is that, but if they want to lower it, that's on them. Right? So if a cook gets 25%, a pusher gets 10, a farmer gets 15, whatever that is, I would hand that to the captain and say, these are for these people. This is the percent. This is the amount, the way I always do. And then from there, they decide if they give that full amount to them or if they're taking some away
actually,
to reallocate.
That works. That works actually. Yeah.
So they still get a lot of control. It's just I make sure that that money doesn't get given to the wrong sub crew or something because they didn't do that work. That's all it is.
I see what you mean. You split that.
Exactly. So,
right.
The goal is just to make sure that the person who did the work is receiving the funds, right? So it doesn't matter. So Farouche pushed the moonshine, but I grew the moonshine, and we're in different crews. I get paid for growing the moonshine. He gets paid for pushing the moonshine.
Exactly. But I don't hand it to you. I hand it to your captain.
But exactly. So you go exactly. You hand it to the captain. The captain pays me, and then you hand it to Rush's captain, and Rush's captain pays him. Perfect. All right. We're on the same.
That's exactly how we're doing it. Yep. I'm gonna make it look like a tax form, like a Form 1040.
Jesus Christ.
And it's gonna go line by line. He leaned back in his chair. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's funny.